Welcome to October. Happy October. Welcome to
Happy
my month.
October. Happy Meadows birthday month.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Libra season.
You're
We're
turning
also
31.
31, baby.
Wow.
I'm in my 30s. I'm in my power and feeling good. I already made a playlist that I want to play all month long. I'll send it to you. Of like, it's literally just witch music. It's all like FK Twigs and Lana Del Rey and Stevie Nicks and like it's so good. And I've just been vibing with
Some
it all day.
Florence
I'm in
there?
a great mood today because
Oh,
I'm just height of my powers, like feeling good.
okay.
So it's very exciting to record today, especially considering the fucking cosmic weather report and the gnarly Libra new moon and eclipse in the south node that we're experiencing tomorrow. Like my whole unpacking, frankly, is astrological. So like,
Oh,
sorry.
no. I mean, curious. Do you want to
Not
just take
sorry
it
to
away?
you, sorry to the people. You know what
Oh,
I
I
mean?
was like,
Like
I
it's
love it.
we're going. No, I want you to go first because I feel like I've gone first the past couple times, and I have no hint or indication to your unpacking. So I'm so deeply curious.
Okay, well, I have my journal.
I brought my journal too. We're both reading from our diaries on the internet today.
Yeah. So,
I
okay,
love
I'm
that.
going to give you guys some insider tea.
Okay.
I hope she doesn't listen to this. And if you do, I say this with love. So, I am stopping therapy for now.
Pause.
And what?
No, not you. It's a pause. It's not a
It's a
stop
pause.
forever. It's a
Yeah.
pause.
I'm
Yeah.
pausing therapy for now. I think the cool thing about self-awareness is knowing what you need when you need it. And I am not somebody who thinks that like therapy is only for when you're struggle bus city.
Right. Right.
I think it's extremely supportive in every area of your life. I also do think that for me personally, it sometimes will get to a point where I'm like, okay, now I'm just kind of ruminating. And this wasn't traditional. It was a mix of regular CBT therapy, talk therapy, but it was also EMDR, which was new for me. I'd never really done traditional EMDR and was really excited about it because we all know that at Hoffman, I do all those little neural wire, whatever, reprocessings and the meditations and visualizations. And like all of that really is what actually like helped me very quickly move on from stuff. And so when I found this therapist that specialized in EMDR, I was really excited to dive in. And if you're unfamiliar with EMDR, you're basically you're moving through like different negative beliefs that you have and attaching essentially a different memory and positive one to it. And that's a very reductive way of talking about it, but I'm saying that like specifically because I texted my therapist and was like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling really good and supported right now. I just feel like it's time for a pause and always happy to revisit. And like, I love the work that we've done together, but like right now, I'm honestly good. And it kind of felt like the last couple of sessions I would go in and I was like drudging shit up to talk about.
Yeah.
And even though every session would end with something helpful and fruitful coming out of it, it did very much still feel like I'm just like grasping at straws again. Not that like there's not always something to like move through, but I don't know. It was just like,
But sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you can also like live and embody and joy and light and like
yeah,
go make memories to find new things to move. Like that's totally
yeah.
valid.
And the cool thing too about EMDR is that I found in my experience that all the things that you're sort of working, each individual like negative belief, when you start moving through it and unpacking it, they kind of all end up sort of linked and end up like working on one another.
Hmm.
So it's not one of those things that like you only really work through when you're there. It's like these ideas are presented, the rewiring starts to happen, and then it's like through the next like weeks, like you really see how it unfolds. And I've really started to feel that. And the main thing that I have felt is that even though things are going to continue to come up, the way that I show up and respond is so much more grounded in myself and grounded in my knowing and in my intuition and in trusting myself. And yeah, I just feel good about it. So today we had our last little call and we went through a lot of the negative beliefs that we started with. I started off this therapy with her because there were like three probably like specific
Hmm.
things that I really wanted to work through that I felt were like really limiting me specifically in my career. So it
Hmm.
was very heavily career focused. Obviously those things bleed into personal life, duh.
Of course.
But it was crazy because today when we started to go through it, because she was like, do you want to start revisiting and looking and seeing like how activating those feel and like look how far you've come and blah blah blah. And we realized that I started going to her a little over a year ago, but our first reprocessing was almost like to the day a year ago,
Wow.
which I didn't even realize, which I was like, oh, that's
That's
pretty cool.
which also, sorry, doing it was the start of the first eclipse in Libra, and we tomorrow is the last eclipse in Libra for like the next few decades. So like that's very much you
Cool.
starting and wrapping something like that. You're so aligned. It's crazy. Please keep
Yeah.
going.
So anyway, I don't want to necessarily move through the negative beliefs like out loud here, but
Sure.
I took a lot of notes on lessons that I've learned.
Mhm.
And a couple of the negative beliefs were kind of surrounded to this idea of not being able to trust myself in the sense of like I need to surround myself with people who are always smarter than me, who are going to tell me what to do because they know the answer, which by the way, like 10 out of 10 recommend always
Of
having this like
course.
sort of board of advisors around you. But I think the key that I've realized is that I can get as many opinions as I feel like I need, but it's all just information that
Mhm.
I'm gathering and then I'm going to make my educated decision from there. And I think I was really afraid to make a choice with it being the wrong choice and fucking something up, especially in my career. And then I realized I was like, how much more painful would it be to make a mistake knowing that the only reason I made that choice was because I wasn't actually listening to myself and I decided to listen to somebody else. And I
Mhm.
betrayed my own intuition in the process.
Mhm.
I would be
Mhm.
so much more annoyed than if I just took accountability and was like, this was my choice and I made this decision and it was the wrong one, than in like thinking about somebody else's.
Dude, I've watched you in the past year. You value your own insights and voice and experiences as much as you do with everyone else at the table you want to sit with.
Thanks.
And it shows because it's true. It's not to say that other people aren't showing you different sides or you want to have the board of advice. Like, it's not to say that that is being dismissed in any capacity, but it's also using all that data to gut check with your own intuition and having that own intuition be as much value, if
Yeah.
not more, than everyone else's.
Yeah. So that was
And
a
you
cool.
embody that majorly now, especially with this past project that you're working, not past, but you just took a big step of initiative
Mhm.
for the one of the first couple steps in this big thing you've been talking about for a while. And I feel like watching you be able to make your own voice and opinion as worthy as everyone else's is like how all this action started happening very quickly. It feels
Yeah.
like. Is that fair
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah. And then action too was something that it was so interesting. It was like I think part of the reason that I had all of these really intense negative beliefs and anxieties around my career was because I was so paralyzed by the fear of just making a decision and taking action that I was just sitting at home alone making up stories. And these
Mhm.
were all just because all these negative beliefs are stories anyway.
Mhm.
But I was just creating stories in here, as we know that I love to do, and ruminating and freaking out.
Yeah.
And like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I'm not going to know until I take a step, which I know has been like the theme of my life for the last couple of months. And I just wrote about it in my newsletter too, of like lessons of inaction.
Mhm.
And
Irregardless, Substack, link in bio.
mhm, um, yeah, I don't know. It was really cool and just a reminder that the more that I trust the process, the more stuff happens.
Mhm.
And a reminder to also remain grounded in trusting the process when stuff isn't happening.
Mhm.
Um,
Really
yeah,
potent reflections. Wow.
thanks. And then she kind of like pointed this out where she was like, there was a quote that she gave me that I really liked and I wrote it down. Oh, okay. So we were specifically talking about like, okay, it was specifically about being able to keep up with life's changes
Mm.
and kind of the fear around not being able to keep up. And so not taking a step because I don't want my life to change too much. because I'm
Mm,
scared that I won't be able to keep up with success. It's when we were talking about the fear of success that this was coming
mhm,
up a lot.
mhm,
And we were talking about, following the things that light me up and sort of the endless energy I have around those types of things as a generator. And I don't remember who said this quote, but she brought it up today and she says, obligation kills desire. The anecdote is devotion. And I was like, that is the perfect way to look at it. Even if we're talking about this gym journey situation,
mhm.
yesterday, I really didn't want to go. I'm about to get my period. I'm just like tired. And so even though I'm giving myself those days of rest, yesterday I had taken like probably a few more days than I would have liked to off. And I was like, just go. And instead of it being like, cause you should, cause you're gonna gain weight, cause this, cause that, it was literally like, no, cause my body deserves it
Point blank
because it's a
period.
devotion,
Yeah.
you know?
Hopelessly devoted to you. Yeah.
But I just thought that that was such a good reframe. Obligation kills desire. The anecdote is devotion. I was like, I
It's
love
so
that.
beautiful. It's so beautiful and so true. Like I feel it in my bones, which is hilarious because I had the same day yesterday. I
Really?
was working and doing stuff and blah 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 and it got late and I was like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And I was like, but you know what? I want to show up for myself first. And I did 20 to 25 minutes of like floor mat Pilates,
Literally the same.
didn't overstretch myself, didn't overdo anything, but like showed up because I wanted to show up for myself because it's been feeling so good
Yeah.
in a devotion to myself. Did the
Yeah.
exact same thing yesterday. I
Go team.
love
Go
that.
team. But
Okay,
yeah, I don't know. Just the healing journey is not about becoming this like perfect robot that's like mechanical and is just always going to be perfect. But it's just, for me, I feel like it's just showing up. It's just about how you meet it, how you meet the
yeah.
moment, how you show up, how you respond instead of react. And so I don't know. I'm giving
With
myself
those
grace. I'm feeling good.
good. With those like really beautiful reflections in your back pocket, do you want to workshop out loud intentions for this next phase?
Mm,
Or
sure.
are you excited to find them along the way?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
you don't
think
have
I'm
them.
excited to find them along the way. I think it's so funny because you and I talk a lot about like the balance of like moving in silence and then also showing our process and like letting
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah.
And I think the more that I move in silence, the more I get comfortable in the like my little hole, like I don't want your bad vibes on this.
Mhm.
And so, but then also I'm like remembering why we started this podcast and like why it is that we have these conversations to like
And
invite
also
people
like
in.
telling people what you want to be doing so that you send the ripple effect. It's the balance
Sure.
of it all. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's the balance of it. Also, that's like what I felt when you
Yeah.
asked me that. I think honestly, it's you don't have information until you take the next step. And the only way you're going to get that information is to keep taking those steps. So you have
Mhm.
to keep moving.
Mhm.
I think that's just, and also, by the way, for me, that kind of makes it not as deep. I don't know why. Like,
No,
I
that's
think if you're making
yeah.
a move every single day, moves don't seem as scary, because you're doing it every single day rather than like living in this inaction and being like, ah, and now I got to do it.
The
You
second
know?
you said that, the thing that came to my mind was like, yeah, because the steps could be forward, it could be a cha-cha, it could be backwards, it could be this like the steps can just be steps. You can like
Yeah.
as long as you're moving, you don't have to always know the direction or the intention or like what's coming next, but like keep those feet shuffling, baby. My mom, this just sent me into like core memory of childhood where my mom and I would walk around Anthropologie back when like you know when they would decorate their stores and their windows and have like the big elaborate displays and whatever, and we would always go look at them and then try to do them at home. But we had a rule in Anthropologie, like your feet always have to keep moving. Do not stop and examine something too
Wait.
thoroughly because we will be there for hours. Like
Yeah.
feet always have to keep. So it's funny because it like viscerally came out of me while you were talking. I was like, yeah, keep those feet moving. Like, you know, you can move around, you can do this and that, but like keep it
You
pushing.
have to
And then
keep
you're
it
right. It's
pushing.
not as deep.
It's
It
not.
brings more light and like playfulness into the journey.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that's the tea.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see,
Keep it pushing.
yeah, what comes next from this. Also, I'm sorry, it's my theme today. So, like, I'm going to stop apologizing now at this point. But if you're a non astrology person, you probably want to end right here because even the way that, like, the total alignment of last year, this year, the eclipses, what you're moving through, what context I know of. Like, it's always so fun to again feel like you're flirting with the universe. Like, it's
Yeah.
your unpacking is crazily aligned.
Yeah. I had this conversation with somebody the other day who achieved stardom in a genuinely like what people say is like a once, like a one in a million way.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was so fucking delulu. And I was like, there's no other option. Like, it just is what it is. And I think as long as I'm continuing, because we know that I like to do this dance between like my delusional mind and my rational mind
Of course.
and doing all that. But what if the delusion is the rational? Sometimes, you know? And if I'm doing all of the things like here on this plane, right, that I need to be doing in order to be making money and all of the stuff, why can't I don't know. I just have always believed that things would happen and then they just happen.
Well, can we also talk about the fact that we call like self belief and self worth a fucking adjective or a whatever it's called for delulu? Like delulu means like this unbridled sense of like self belief. Like that's a little overconflated in and of itself. So like, yeah,
Sure.
what is more rational than being your own fucking biggest cheerleader? No one lives in your head but you. Who else is gonna hear it? Who else is gonna believe it? Like if you're not gonna root for yourself that hard and think you can do anything, who is?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
come
turning it
on,
into the
dude.
word delusional made it fun, but it also made
No, no,
it
no. Of course, of
it
course.
no, but it did make it like, "Oh my god, am I delusional?"
Oh, interesting.
Where I was like, "Ah,"
No, no,
you know?
no, no. You could never be. And because you're always approaching, like you said, with that balanced mindset, that's always going to be how you approach it. So you know that you're going to feel that out, especially because you're such a feeling and like intuitive manifester. Like you're always going to
Yeah.
feel out that balance. But I just think with considering the caveats you said of like existing in this world and like trying to pay rent and all the other things, yeah, we should have crazy levels of self belief. Like, I hope everyone feels as lit up and like inspired to go after everything they want to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
Come on. Oh, I'm so proud of you. What a
Thanks.
cool way to really like honor that beautiful ending and like take the time, especially with your therapist, to go back and look at all that too.
Yeah. Hey everyone, popping in to say thank you to all of the amazing people who listen and watch this podcast. We're so grateful for each and every one of you and truly cannot say thank you enough for tuning in every single week.
In order for us to keep bringing you all great conversations and continue building our community and raising the bar, we're asking you for some simple and free support. Subscribe to our channel, follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts, and keep up with us on social at Thoughts May Vary Pod.
And if you're looking to dive even deeper, you can join our exclusive Patreon community and download Co-Create, our digital manifestation journal filled with over 150 prompts to help guide your curiosity and unlock new layers of yourself.
Thanks for being here. Do you go back and read your journals?
Sometimes.
I don't read mine often, but I do find that I tried to go through it recently and just kind of look at like bigger pages that were easy to parcel out.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to get caught up in the day to day and not realize how far you've come without taking that intentional reflection space. So I feel like the fact that you did that with her is now going to inspire me to like want to go through my old journal and see where I was at last year, September, October.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Cause that is really, really, that's a portal,
It's
baby. That is
cool.
cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool to do that. I'm just such a facts bitch. Like
Yeah.
I love looking at the facts. And so and that's something that I always recommend to people. Like if you're ever feeling down on yourself of like, what did I even accomplish? What have I even gotten done? I urge you to honestly make a list of all of
Yeah.
the things because you will be surprised of how much you've actually done. And don't minimize the things that you might think are small or little things. Even if you
Right.
made a new friend or,
Right.
whatever. Like don't don't minimize that stuff because it all compounds and builds into the life that you are dreaming of.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. I'm going to go through my whole fucking diaries.
I keep all of
um,
them.
Interestingly enough, as per usual, we are pretty aligned.
Mm,
I was okay. So clearly, I'm deep into my astrology game right now. I'm having a lot of fun, kind of like leveling up with my skills and knowledge, especially considering all the like new moon and full moon guides that we do in ESP. I try to do a monthly overview. So I'm just getting deeper and deeper into it. And in doing that, getting deeper into like my specific chart and day to
Mm.
day where things are and yada, yada, yada. So yesterday, I had a couple different apps that have all my information in them. And the overarching message for like my specific chart yesterday was there's a lot of downloads happening. Like there's been some confusion. We're moving out of that. Like the new moon is coming. You're going to get a lot of downloads and aha move moments today. And so
Mm.
my whole day was primed with that. And at the beginning of the day, I had been catching up on a voice note with a friend and kind of sent him an update about like where I was at and what I was going through, blah, 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 blah. And as I went throughout my day, I was looking for these downloads. And like, sure, maybe I had some, but like not really. There wasn't like a big epiphany moment, a big spark, if you will. And at the end of the night, I was reflecting and journaling, kind of reiterating some of the things I had said that morning. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I feel like doing a tarot spread. Like, it's the eve before my birthday month. Like, how fun. Let's do a little mini spread. And as people know, if you're here, I kind of just like intuitively move through that. But I think I will share what I asked specifically because it was kind of fun and different.
Oh, okay.
So I asked different questions. And as I would hold the deck and shuffle them and ask the question, I would pull the cards. So I asked all five in the row and made a spread in front of me. And then I wrote everything down and like interpreted my messages through them. But the questions I asked were, what downloads am I hearing? What are you telling me? How can I act on this? What am I missing? And how can I move forward with this energy? And
I
the
love those
answer,
questions.
weren't those good? There, it was just kind of like what I was feeling and what I was wondering about. And the messages were everything I had said first thing in the morning in the voice note to the friend. And it kind of became this really beautiful reminder to myself in the name of intuition of when you're tuned in to the right radio station and you're tuned into that frequency and you're always looking for it. I think sometimes these intuitive downloads feel more subtle than the way other people talk about them, or you can say, or your app being like, pay attention to your aha moment today. Like I knew everything that was always already going on subtly, I guess,
Mhm.
because I had that ping. So even though I was looking for something bigger, it felt like the equivalent of like literally looking for the billboard on the side of a freeway saying, this is your sign. And
Yeah.
we know that that's not how signs come through. So it kind of became this really cool intuitive reminder of like, yeah, bitch, you know, like you're always plugged in. This is your favorite shit to do. Like, of course, you know, like listen to yourself. Anyway, so with that intuition, my kind of unpacking right now is just similar to yours of striking my balance between moving in silence and bringing people in on the process. And right now, I'm finding that there's a big aspect of pretty much like career and financial health that in the past year, like from 1 year, I think my Coven trip was just over a year ago now. So I think
Oh,
about where I
cool.
was in
Yeah.
that Coven trip. That's kind of a good marker for me versus now. And there's in that career and financial and passion, there's so much more clarity and insights and so much more self-worth and self-deservingness
Cool.
unbridled. However, external circumstances don't necessarily reflect the internal, like monumental shift that
Mm.
I've gone through. And what I've let go of is that I'm totally fucking cool with that. Like, I do not need for external circumstances to catch up with what's going on internally because I know that the more and more I move through things and trust my intuition, I also trust my timing. And I'm like
Mhm.
really not concerned with my story looking like someone else's. And so right now for me is very much the time to go inward and do this kind of like cool repetitive work like with such clarity of the bigger picture. I'm distilling it down back into my daily tasks and with this new set of values, like subtly redirecting what that looks like, whether it's morning pages or the meditating or like what I'm researching, the classes I'm taking, whatever, and kind of just re upping on how my new set of beliefs and my newfound North Stars are being delineated into my daily routine and then just like fucking doing it. Just like in that, like there's one card, I think it's the 5 of discs in my tarot deck, and it's a woman making tortillas. And the whole thing is about this like that daily beautiful quotidian work repeatedly and
Mhm.
kind of like transmuting any worries into like daily movement.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's what I feel like I'm doing. Like I've dropped all the worries of like things looking a certain way. I've dropped the worries of my timeline looking a certain way. I'm so clear on what I want to be doing. And now I'm just fucking making tortillas. Like now I'm just like, and having fun doing it, like bringing
Yeah.
like lightness, having fun, not making it so deep, and just like being in that daily intuitive action.
That makes me really happy because I know that you were going through a period where it was more frustrating than anything else that the external wasn't matching the internal. But
Yeah.
have you heard? I feel like I've been seeing this all over TikTok. I don't know if they were specifically talking about dreams or taste. It was one of the
Mm,
two, but it was like your taste is never going to match your financial means, essentially, or something. It was something like that because it was like, or maybe it was talking about dreams. I think it was saying that your reality isn't always going to match your current dream because if it
mm.
were your current reality, then it wouldn't be a dream that you had. You could be currently living out a previous dream that you had, but of
Oh, that's
course you're going
juicy.
to be think like it's never going to match if you're
Yeah.
manifesting and you're co-creating because you're always, and not to be, saying you're always moving the goalposts and you don't have
No,
an
no, I get what
understanding
you're
of what's
saying though.
enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, like of course, because you're working towards something.
Oh, that is so, so fucking good. Because even thinking back to that Coven trip and the way I was describing like dreams and what I wanted to do is so different from what I very quickly discovered there afterwards and what I'm working on now. So like if my now looks like what I wanted it to in
Yeah,
last September versus last November,
yeah,
worlds away.
yeah. And when people are always
That's
like, "Oh,
cool.
little you would be so proud of where you're at." When I think about 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old me,
Yeah.
the things that she wanted are the things that I am living now,
Yeah, absolutely.
and more so. And the things that I'm worried about right now that I'll be like, "Ugh, little Gabby wouldn't have appreciated that." She wouldn't have even known to worry about the thing because she wouldn't
No,
know that it was a
exactly.
thing. So, like,
Exactly.
she would still look at me now and be like, "That's fucking dope."
Bitch, like that's so cool that that's your problem. It's so funny that you say that too, or how you were saying taste and dreams, because I literally was voice noting Steffi from the Coven this morning. And I said, my taste is beyond my means. And I know this is a very Libra problem to have, but I'm at the height of my powers and it's very bad.
I mean,
There
yeah,
she
like,
goes.
well, Taura and Libra, Taura, Taura and Libras is what I just said. Taurus and Libras. It's our plight.
No, it's completely why we're hand in hand and it's totally our plight. And what's cool about that is that in part of letting that go, like in part of that parceling out, that's why I'm motivated to be the fuck in front of a camera. How many times have I told you, like, all I want to do is vlog or do this or do that, but like, I don't like the way my house looks. Like, I don't want to show up in a space that doesn't feel like it reflects me. And guess what? I don't fucking care anymore because maybe it reflects a past version of myself and it doesn't have to reflect my present. And it also, I don't know, like, if it just, it doesn't feel so deep and it doesn't
'Cause it's,
feel
by
like it
the
has
way,
to indicate that it reflects my internal anymore.
because not to dismiss how you feel about it, because how you feel about it is valid, but in the same way that no one is thinking about you the way that you're thinking about you. So if
Exactly.
somebody's it's the same way that when I come to your home, I love your home. I think it's
Right.
so well designed. I think it's cute, it's chic, like all of those
It's
things that
so
to
me.
me, it's so you.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching your video, I'm like, "Oh, this is like cool and aesthetic and like it's the same vibe." But then again, it doesn't even matter. There's a girl that I watch on TikTok who literally only shoots videos inside of her bathroom. Like,
Exactly.
she's literally either on the
No,
bathroom floor
exactly.
or it's like her camera's on her mirror and she's like doing cute outfits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And her whole shtick is like she lives in some small town in Bumblefuck wherever, and she is like gonna go fucking slay at Walmart, BRB, and it's like
Yeah,
her in the chicest outfit I've ever seen, being like,
yeah.
"Life's too short to not wear the fucking heels because you live in a small town."
I
Like,
love it.
I'm stepping out in her fucking bathroom.
I love that.
In
I
her
love that so
fucking
much.
bathroom.
I
And
love it so much.
also, side note, it even is an evolution that I'm seeing of you saying that you wanna be on camera because there was a long minute where you were like, "I want to coil and not be perceived and not be on camera."
Yeah, yeah,
Did
fully.
something shift? I mean, something shifted, so what shifted?
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, where did my brain just went like this, like ping ponged 100 different things. So let me try to eloquently weave this together the best I can. Honoring past dreams that still exist because I took pressure off the table for them to look like what I want them to, and I'm just want to have fun.
Mhm.
This the same unpacking of like the external not meaning the internal doesn't matter and doesn't tell me stories about them one way or another anymore. That's been a big one. And then I think also with this clarity on career, I think it's been so much more exciting because it this clarity on career has brought in it's basically synthesized all the versions of myself that I didn't realize were all coming together for one thing. So like creativity, mental health, spirituality, like that art ho shit, that like me being 10 years old, taking the pottery class, being turning to my mom, this is what I meant to do with my life. Like knowing the day in 2005, I got the flip phone and I used to go around our neighborhood taking what I would call artsy photos of like plants and like shadows and like
Yep.
the
Yep.
dancer in me, like all of that shit met with like losing a brother to suicide and my dad and the traumas and the this and the school shoot, like all of that. Like I just feel like I have so much hindsight for these different facets of my life that all felt like a version of me that I didn't realize was going to alchemize into something that I could offer. Like I thought that I would express some
Mm.
things in one way and have other things be like a fun outlet or for myself, but not necessarily synthesize the two. And I was okay with that. I don't think everything has to be synthesized and you can have like hobbies that are just for you or whatever that looks like. So I just didn't anticipate it. And now that it's together, it feels like it's braided me up with these things that like, yeah, this is my entire being. And I've been sectioning off parts of myself and presenting those in a way of self-preservation, but understanding the way it comes together now, I'm so much more liberated to fucking show all of that
Mm.
because now I know how it comes together for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm so much clearer on how I want to share that with others.
That was really well said.
Was it? Okay, thanks. Because I
Yeah.
really worked that out in real
I
time.
love the word alchemized.
Dude, that's one of my words for this month.
It's a great
Alchemy
word.
is such an October word,
It is an October word.
isn't it? Alchemy.
Ooh.
Thank you. You know
Hmm.
what's fun about that? Every time I ask the community, like, what are your words? Every time we've done this twice, 3 times, I don't know. Every time they're like at least 3 to 4 words that I had already written down intuitively. So it's cool to
Oh,
see where like that
cool.
collective energy picks up with that. At least 3 to 4.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Because
We're
like
aligned.
someone else said alchemy too, and I was like, yes,
We're aligned. We're connected.
we're aligned. It's all. I'm sure other people are also unpacking intuition, unpacking endings and beginnings, unpacking like where they're showing up for themselves in a
Yeah.
different way. Like it all fucking goes together, dude. It's crazy.
That's the coolest thing about the community and this
Yeah.
space is
Yeah.
that
Yeah. 100%.
that we get to see ourselves reflected in that, and also that we get that there's, as you were talking, I was also thinking about like when you were saying how you didn't know how it was going to come together and how you were going to use it in your career and how it was going to like come out of you. I was thinking about certain conversations that you and I have had where we were like really resistant to something, and it was honestly because like we just wanted to do it in a way that hadn't already been done. And so we were
Yeah.
like, oh, like if this is the way that people are doing it, like I'm not really interested in that. But then we didn't like actually like step
Do it
into
our
like
own way.
doing it our own way. And I think like
Yeah.
now we are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that thought, but it just, I was thinking about that when you were talking because I was like, it's just cool to see you continue to like step into that power and continue to step into that knowing. Because we all know like 29 to 30 was like your fucking year of like, I am
Yeah.
woman, hear me roar.
Yeah.
And
Which
now
like
it's just,
am I not holding a mirror to you? We've passed the baton like fully because that's your
thanks.
year.
Thanks. But yeah, it's just cool to see you be so sure in you.
Thanks. Thank you. Can I give you a really small example of that because we literally talked
Yeah.
about it yesterday?
Yeah.
We don't even have to keep this in, but we can. It's inconsequential. But you know how we were talking about TikTok yesterday? Because I gave you a compliment because you're doing a great job about
Thank
like
you.
posting a lot more.
Yeah.
And I told you I hadn't posted it in a while. And I was like, I posted one today and I haven't posted in like at least a week. So like I'm
Mhm.
sure it'll do bad. Like you never know. TikTok algorithm is crazy. I
Popped off.
posted about popped off
Yeah, of course it did.
because I posted about the book I'm reading for the class I'm taking. That's literally an art history account of women artists in touch with the spirit world.
Oh wait,
And
I liked that one. But
every comment is like target demo, okay, for you page, like locked in, whatever, like the exact target demo of these three niches that I'm now out. You know what I
yes,
mean? It's even
you're
like
almost at
all small.
10,000.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yes,
See, it's
109 people sent it to each other, 807 saves, 1,400 likes.
which again, like numbers don't matter, but it's cool to watch the little things of like, oh, I literally said in there, I'm doing a project that's creativity, mental health, and spirituality. And I even got a comment of someone being like, so excited to read this and so excited for your project. And
Okay,
that was that balance of what do I keep internal and what do I share? Because I haven't shared even that
yeah, you
sentence that
haven't.
much. And just doing it, like, look how many people are resonating. And
Yeah.
that's fucking cool.
And I know that numbers don't matter, but I just want to point something out to you. I'm on the video of yours that went like viral, the like 2
Yeah.
million one. 24,000 people sent it to somebody.
Yeah.
Picture 24,000 people in a fucking room,
Yeah.
and every single one of them sent it to somebody else.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Like I always think about that when I think about, oh, I was talking to somebody about numbers, social numbers the other day. I was like, yeah, it's not that big. And then I was like, no, like I think the number was like 16,000, which in the grand scheme of social media is like not a lot of people. And I'm
But
like,
still,
16,000 people in a room would be pretty fucking
it's
crazy.
a pretty fucking big room.
Who like all like know who you are and have like
Right.
seen your
Right.
face and like have listened to your thoughts and like resonated with your
Or
thoughts and like
choose to be around. Yeah.
yeah,
It's 16,000 people choosing to be in a room with you. That's really cool.
right. So yeah, I think your TikTok, what's I said this on like I think the last episode, the one before, but it's cool just because you're fine, like you're really just talking about the shit that you like and the shit that you're
Yeah.
naturally doing in your life, and that's obviously what's resonating with people because it's you being you.
Well, thanks for giving me inspiration on that because you taught me that my Jupiter was also in Libra. The way all of my Libra placements are fucking insane. So it's like my rising, my sun, my rising, my Jupiter, and my Venus. So it's
Mhm.
like the way I love how I am, how I'm like growing into, and also like where my luck and abundance comes in is all the exact same fucking thing. So like the more I just own that, and now it's my season, I'm just crazy. I'm so self indulgent right now. It's
I love
fucking
it. That's how you
crazy.
fucking should be. It's your season, bitch. Shine on.
I love it.
Ow!
Thanks.
Just hit my knee so hard.
Oh,
Ouch.
all right. Well, I feel really good. That felt like a therapy session, frankly. So you could
Love
fire
that.
your EMDR therapist and just stick with me, baby.
Love it. I'll Venmo you right after
Things
this
to
talk.
never say to your friend.
I know, imagine. Oh, bitch. All right. This was great. And what a fun convo we had.
I know. I love you so much.
Love you too.
See you soon.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
How's it going, y'all? It's Aaron. Don't let your Monday suck. Don't have those Sunday scaries. I'm tired of everybody waking up in the week saying, shit, it's Monday. You know what goes down? TMV releases every week on Mondays. Make sure you rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're watching YouTube, yes, TMV has a YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and ring that noti bell and never miss a thing. And also, join the TMV Familia by joining the Thoughts May Vary Patreon and by following at Thoughts May Vary Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for listening.
Great.
There you go.
Thanks, AB.
Got y'all.